accepting and receiving impartation from a wrong spirit by opening your heart to the influence of what? A wrong spirit. Now let's do Acts of the Apostles chapter 16. Acts of the Apostles chapter 16. Begin from verse 16. Acts 16 verse 16. You must understand that one of the greatest feats of deception that Satan is selling is to bring you to a point where you accept a wrong spirit. You yield to a wrong spirit. And it came to pass as we went to prayer, a certain damsel possessed with a spirit of divination met us, which brought her masters much gain by her soothsaying. One of Satan's own mingled herself with the congregation of the righteous. And it came to pass, the same followed Paul and us and cried, saying, these men are the servants of the Most High God, which show unto us the way of salvation. Now, this foul spirit was already speaking through this lady, and she was speaking as though it was the words of God she was conveying. That means Satan was masquerading as an angel of light. Because if Satan comes as Satan, you will not accept. But if Satan comes speaking like an angel, there is a likelihood that you will yield to it, you will accept it. And that is going to pollute your spirit. What did she say? No, go back to the last. The same followed Paul and us and cried, saying, these men are the servants of the Most High God, which show unto us the way of salvation. And then that entire congregation will believe that it is God that is speaking and will yield to the utterance coming from that fountain. I just got back, I think in University of Abuja or something like that. And he said he went for a night vigil. And in that night vigil, they brought a strange pastor. And after that pastor, he did some things that he fell on the ground. Then when he rose up and left, a voice began to speak to him. The voice told him he will drop out of school at 500 level. He will die, and yeah. That's what we call demonic impartation. If someone is ministering with a false spirit and the person disguises so much that the impersonation is perfect and you believe is operating under the Spirit of God and you yield, you are likely to receive an impartation, a deposit of the essence by which that fellow is transmitting. And I've seen that again and again and again and again and again and again. Should I tell you something? We went somewhere. No, that's Lagos. So I was sitting, I finished ministering, and they said, these people, this one came from here, this one came from this place, this one, please see them. I said, okay. I sat down. Then the first lady came in. I said, okay, what's your name? She told me. I said, what's the problem? She said she's been seeing a certain man of God. She believes that is her husband. I said, what's the name of this man of God? He told me. I said, okay, you are wrong. Are you following? The next lady comes in, and then he said, oh, she's been seeing a certain man of God. She believes that's her husband. Guess what? He called the name of the same man of God. And then we now have, you're not following me. You're not here. The reason why I don't want to mention the name, all of you know the person. And at the end of the day, during that counseling, there were 3 ladies that came and mentioned that they are seeing that man of God. 3 ladies. Now, 2 weeks later, another one added, the same person. I don't deny that they heard something. But the thing that they heard was not God, because the Bible says God is not the author of confusion. So where did they pick up this spirit that seems to be ministering to them and giving them direction and giving them? And in order for that to happen, that spirit which is operating on them has suppressed their recreated human spirit. So it's now the organ of transmission now. There is a case of the defilement that has been achieved. That's why, if you study the book of 1 Corinthians, there is a safeguard for the prophetic. There's a safeguard. And that's why the Bible says, let you people prophesy 1 and 2, let another judge. That's what we call the safeguards for the prophetic. If it were the Old Testament, if you prophesy and prophesy, they will take you outside to River Benue and stone you to death. So people don't easily rise up and say, "Don't say the Lord." They don't, because they know if it's not God. After they scrutinize it. I don't know how long it takes them to check it. If it happens not to be God, you will be stoned to death. You see, that's why people, those prophets that prophesied, that's why they were accurate. People were not competing with them, because if your own goes this way, they say, you have started fellowshipping with spirits of darkness. The same man of God, 3 ladies in one meeting. In one meeting. Then guess what? When we now moved around a few nations, I got that from other nations to that same individual. God is not the author of confusion. Where did they pick that spirit from? And the spirit has settled. The spirit is speaking. The spirit has masqueraded. The host believes it is the spirit of God. It was a result of satanic impartation. Let me drop a few symptoms for you. Symptoms, the things that will begin to happen to you if you have satanic impartation. Few symptoms. Number 1 symptom, you will start hearing voices. If you investigate these voices properly, you will see that their utterances are contrary to the scriptures. Contrary to the scriptures. The second symptom that will find expression if you have received a demonic impartation is that you are likely to have very frequent and unnatural desires. Very frequent and unnatural desires. A man begins to desire a man. It's a spirit. Are you there? Unnatural. Strange desires. All those things are propelled by falling foul spirits. And these are the kind of things that take place. A lot of people are going through it. They know that they have not done anything wrong, as it were, but they are shameful. Their condition is shameful. They cannot even discuss it with other people. Unnatural desires. It means that that spirit has found a place to perch. Are you there? The ones that perch on the body, that the ones that trigger those bodily desires. The ones that perch on the mind or the soul, they can trigger strange emotions. Some of them can make you feel lonely. So lonely you'll be looking for companionship. You picked it somewhere. Meanwhile, leave me in the room, I can be there for the whole 24 hours and I'm not lonely, fully preoccupied, fully occupied. fully occupied. We went to Amsterdam, so some of our brethren from the United States came to meet us in Amsterdam. Since it's easier for them to meet us there, it's like 8 hours or 7 hours, I don't know. So they just hopped in. And then we were in the same flat. It was like, I don't know how many rooms, because I never went up until I left the building. My room was downstairs. And my room was the only room that was downstairs. So I never climbed up till we left. Right, so people like Henry and Laura came from London. Then Ife, they all came in from the US and went that way. So they now notice my lifestyle. I enter the room. I don't come out until it's time for us to go for the meeting. And this is your life? Yeah, this is my life. When I'm in the room, I'm not alone. Those are my best moments. Sometimes when you come to draw me out, drag me out of that room, oh my God, it's like punishment. That's how your fellowship life with God is supposed to be. But if there is contamination in your spirit, the spirit that you went to contact can manipulate your mood and take that rest from your heart. So the first symptom is that what? Strange voices. Second symptom is that you begin to have unnatural desires, and those are twisting and troubling desires. You begin to have them. The third symptom is depression. You don't know why you are down. You try everything you can in the natural for you to revive yourself, but you are still in that state. It is suggestive of the fact that you picked up something. Are you there? All right. All right. So we'll finish number one. That's number one. Accepting and receiving impartation from a false spirit. Philip has gone to Lagos. If not, I would have asked him to confirm something I want to say now. Has gone to Lagos for an unofficial visit. We went to Enugu to preach. When we got to Enugu, I began to minister. And some individuals that were deaf began to hear. So I just decided to interview one of the people that had a testimony about the deaf ear opening. I said, young lady, were you born deaf? She said, no, I wasn't born deaf. So how did you become deaf? She went for a crusade, and the pastor that was ministering laid hands on her, and she became deaf. Yes. True life story. She became deaf when a pastor laid his hands on her. The spirit of deafness entered. So that night, her ears popped open like this. She began to hear again. And she was so excited. Meanwhile, the congregation marveled. She left Enugu, traveled with her money to Nsukka to receive deafness. She paid a price to embrace deafness. Are you there? All right, so that was what happened.